Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Live with Roger Hanson. I am Roger, and today I am here to do another episode for Ancient History. I don't know for sure if Carmen is going to come in or not, so it's fine. We can continue where I left off the last time. And it was getting pretty interesting too. So we were discussing Nicole Tuatalas. Actually, we were just getting ready to get to him, but I wanted to go through Tuatology and of course Nicole, and then Ningal, which is a Sumerian goddess. So we start to learn about the Phoenicians, the Canaanites, and I should have mentioned it too, but there's also a blend of Sumerian in there as well. So before we start, I am going to go get my coffee. I left it on the table, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I got my coffee. And I am ready to go. Here we go. Now, right here is page 4, and I will start reading it. Like other... Oh wait, that was the wrong one again. I forgot to drop that one. So, alright. So, Porphyry believed that animals, unlike plants, although having somewhat less rational souls than humans, nevertheless still had souls. He believed that they were capable of recognizing and assessing their situation, making future plans, and in a sense communicating and responding to one another and to humans. Now, Tuatas of Byblos, or Thoth, or however you pronounce them, came from Byblos, Phoenicia, circa 2000 BC. According to the Egyptians, language is attributed to Tuatas, who was the father of Tuatology, or imitation. Okay, so now we get into Tuatology. And Tuatology logic in mathematical logic, a Tuatology is a formula or assertion that is true in every possible interpretation. An example is x equals y, or x, I don't know the symbol, x equals y. Similarly, either the ball is green or the ball is not green is always true, regardless of the color of the ball. The philosopher Ludwig Wittgenstein first applied the term to redundancies of propositional logic in 1921, borrowing the rhetoric where a tautology is a repetitive statement. In logic, a formula is satisfiable if it is true under at least one interpretation, and thus a tautology is a formula whose negation is unsatisfied. In other words, it cannot be false, it cannot be untrue. Alright, so we come to the sentence again. He invented the first. No, wait. According to the Egyptians, language is attributed to Tuatus, who was the father of tautology, or imitation. Okay, so imitation is what that would sound like with the logic. He invented the first written characters 2000 BC or earlier. He played his flute to the chief deity of Bablos, the moon goddess Ba'alat Nekal. Now, Ba'alat Nekal, this is where we left off. Okay, Nekal, or Nekal Waleb, or Nekal Wib, was a goddess worshipped in various areas of ancient Near East, west of Mesopotamia. In the ancient Near East, west of Mesopotamia. She was derived from the Mesopotamian god Nagal, and like her forerunner, was regarded as the spouse of a moon god, whose precise identity varied between locations. While well attested in Hurrian and Hittite sources, as well as in Ugarit, however, she is largely absent from documents from the western part of ancient Syria. Now, Nagal, the counterpart from Mesopotamia, Sumerian, and Assyrian. Now, Ningal was a Mesopotamian goddess, regarded as the wife of the moon god Nana, or Sin. He was particularly closely associated. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, where you? Have I missed the live?
No, not much. I'm just catching up to where we were. Doing a little bit of recap. Actually, I'm starting off on Ningal. So, here, I went through tautology, where it was talking about it before. And it's actually a form of logic and mathematics. So that was pretty interesting.
Can you share the link? Oh, you already did. You're ahead of me.
That's Ningal. I covered a little bit of Nikal, so I've got that one. And right now I'm on Ningal. I just started the first part of it. So let me see. Ningal was a Mesopotamian goddess regarded as the wife of the moon god Nana, or Sin. She was particularly closely associated with his main cult centers, and Haran, but they were also worshipped together in other cities of Mesopotamia. She was particularly venerated by the third dynasty of Ur and later by kings of Larsa. Now, the third dynasty, when they're referring to that, that's the third dynasty of the Sumerian. The Sumerians, yeah. Wait, the third dynasty of Ur, also called Neo-Sumerian Empire. Yeah, that's what it is. That's Neo after the fall of the Sumerians. They eventually created the Sumerian kingdom again, but they usually put Neo behind it whenever an empire does that. Like there's the Neo-Syrians, and then there's the Assyrian Empire. So, just a little bit of history facts there.
Okay. And how does it relate, or does it relate to what we were talking about with Neoplatism and stuff?
Well, you remember Nicole, don't you?
Nikko.
She was the goddess worshipped by, or no, she was the goddess that Tuatis played the flute for. Tuatis was the father of Tuatology, or imitation. He invented the first written characters 2,000 years BC or earlier. He played his flute to the chief deity of Byblos, the moon goddess Ba'alat Nikol. Tuat was called Thoth by the Greeks and Jeheti by the Egyptians. Now, I went a little bit over Nicole and what we discussed last week, and then we're talking about going back over like Nagal, who is her counterpart in Mesopotamia. It says Nicole was a goddess worshipped in various areas of the ancient Near East, west of Mesopotamia. She was derived from the Mesopotamian goddess Nagal, and like her forerunner, was regarded as the spouse of a moon god, and whose precise identity varied between locations. Now that was her spouse, who varied from different locations. But with the Mesopotamians, Ningal was married to Nana. You remember Nana?
Yeah, she was one of the first. That's the person whose sister was in the underworld.
Now that was Inanna. That was Nana's daughter.
Okay.
And Nana was the son, or the father of Inanna, and his wife was Ningal, the one that was basically Nicole's counterpart. So basically they took Ningal and they incorporated her into Nicole. So that's where you get that deity from, with the Phoenicians and the Canaanites. Now Nana was also called Sin, and I believe he was the illegitimate son of Enlil. So that's how that goes. And he was the moon god.
Okay, okay.
So she was particularly closely associated with his main cult centers, or in Haran. And see, Haran pops up again, where I was telling you about Haran before. I forgot which episode it was, but see, Haran is very important. It goes back all the way, like way back with the Sumerians and everything, the beginning of civilization, and a lot of people don't mention the fact that it wasn't Nineveh or even Assur that was the first capital of the Assyrians. It was actually Haran, if you take it down. You see? So, and this is back before they were even an empire too. So, like, they were just like a city-state kind of situation, you know? So, but they were also worshipped together in other cities of Mesopotamia. She was particularly venerated by the third dynasty of Ur and later by kings of Larsa. Now, the third dynasty of Ur was also called the Neo-Sumerian Empire. And that refers to a 22nd to 21st century BC Sumerian ruling dynasty based in the city of Ur, and a short-lived territorial political state, which some historians consider to have been a Niskant empire, which that's just ridiculous. All of it is. It's like that last part. No.
Why you say so?
Why do I think so?
Yeah, you say it's ridiculous. Why?
Well, the culture and everything that came out of the third dynasty of Ur was amazing. Yeah, they have tons of good history that comes out of there, like when it was conquered, the way it was conquered and stuff like that. I mean, just to say that, I just find it ridiculous with the history that was involved with that third dynasty. They had some, I'll just say they have some pretty good writings from that era. Like some of the priestess. There was women who were priestess for Inanna, and they were venerated. I mean, people listened to them before they listened to even oh god, I forgot what they were called. They were I can't say they were like emperors because they weren't. The Sumerians didn't have an emperor, but I forgot the name of him. But they listened to them before they listened to their leaders. So now Larsa is also an interesting place. Now Larsa is also referred to as Laurentiu or Lauricon by Boreso, and connected with the biblical Elisar, was an important city-state in ancient Sumer, the center of the cult of the sun god Utu. Now that's Utu Shamash.
We just learned about.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Now Inanna is twins with Utu Shamash. Okay.
Yeah, I remember that. Yep.
Or Ishtar, whichever name you want to use. But let me also remind you from what I said last week, if you use the term Ishtar, you're talking about the Babylonians. If you use the name Inanna, you're talking about the Sumerians, because she had two different names, and she didn't become Ishtar until Babylon took over. So a lot of people get that mixed up. That's why I always point it out.
What is, if you're familiar, what is the timeline of that?
Well,
like how
the Sumerians go back all the way to, I think it's like 12,000 BC, and they come to an end roughly about 4,000, 5,000 BC, right around in that area. And then after that, there was the Babylonians, and then the Babylonians lasted well up until the turn of the millennium, right around there. They might not have been their own city-state, but they were around Babylon.
That's crazy. I didn't even. Okay.
Yeah. Like these, you know how everybody talks about how old Babylon is?
Yeah, ancient Babylon, and yeah.
These are the ancestors of ancient Babylon. You know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hmm.
No,
I never.
that tells you right there, man. Now Utu Shamash, he was the sun god, and just at the end we were talking about how he was actually he's also Shamash, and he was also associated with the Persians. The Persians, they believe in Zoroastrianism, and they're real touchy about the whole thing of migrating other gods and deities into their pantheon. But for some reason, they allowed Shamash in, you know, and Shamash and Utu are the same. So.
Pantheon. Pantheon. Can you elaborate on what pantheon means? I can look it up, but is it pantheon? Pantheon.
Yeah,
Pantheon. Okay.
that's it. It'd be good to do anyhow, because then you can read it out and we can kind of get it on the video, let people know exactly what it is.
Okay. So, Pantheon, Rome is a Roman temple. Okay. The word pantheon derives from Greek pantheon, literally a temple of all gods, or a common to all gods. And let's see what
Yeah, like a pantheon of gods is basically like that. Usually a pantheon is like a group of gods within a belief system. And,
yeah.
And usually they have a hierarchical level. Like there's always one god who's in charge, and then one below him, and then another below him, and so forth. So with the Sumerians, you had On, or Anu. He was changed from On to Anu, and then after him came Enlil, and then Enlil and Enki, and then their wives. I can't remember exactly who Enlil's wife was at the moment, but I know that it was Ningel was the wife of Sin. Actually, I can't even remember frickin' Enki's wife. It's one heck of a frickin' day. And Shamash, there's another thing with the Akkadians. Shamash is actually Akkadian. So what happened was even before Babylon came along and the Babylonians, first there were the Sumerians, and then the Sumerians were conquered by the Akkadians. So then you had a mix of Sumerian and Akkadians, and that's when they started changing their languages over from Sumerian text to Akkadian, because it was Semitical. It was Semitic writing, and it's a lot easier to write and understand. So it just naturally they started using that over the Sumerians' language. But the priests and the royalty and everything still used Sumerian on their tablets, because they consider the language to be holy or something. I shouldn't really say that. That's what I think. That's why I think they did it. So while everybody was using Akkadian languages, or the Akkadian language, these priests and royalty were still writing, or intellectuals too, I guess they were still writing in Sumerian. So Shamash was the ancient Mesopotamian sun god, earlier known as Utu. Now, Utu is the one that we've been talking about. And that's when Utu was switched over to Shamash. So Utu is the Sumerian name, and Shamash is the Akkadian name. Now, Sumerian is the language of ancient Sumer. It is one of the oldest attested languages, dating back to at least 29,000 BC. It is accepted to be a local language, isolated, and to have been spoken in ancient Mesopotamia, in the area that is modern-day Iraq. And remember the other day when we were talking about the Garden of Eden?
No, I honestly don't wait. Mm-mm.
It was when Robot was talking about the Garden of Eden, and we were talking
Oh
about
yeah,
locations.
yeah. The original Garden of Eden. Yeah, no, I.
Now, Dalmun or Dalman is the actual place. You know where Qatar is? Qatar?
No, I feel like we might have looked at it on the map, but I don't think so. Can we? Is Qatar starts with a K? K A. Oh no. Q U Qatar.
Yeah. Quatar.
Okay, I'm looking at it.
I just heard that and went, arr.
Like a robot.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, they're doing a show tonight. Not to sidetrack. Okay. Quatar. Qatar. Ah, that's so pretty. Yeah, I do. I feel like I do remember looking at that because this picture looks really familiar.
Yeah.
Wow, it's a day flight. Officially, the state of Qatar is a country in West Asia. It occupies the Qatar Peninsula on the northeastern coast.
Yeah. Now, if you go to the map on there, it'll show you Del Moon. Right here, I can actually do it real quick. Let me.
Okay, you gonna share it on? Cause I'm looking for the map and I don't even.
Yeah.
But that's cause I'm a wiki.
Qatar. And then down, it's right here in Bahrain, actually. And I just have to find Del Moon. Yeah.
You looking at the map?
Yeah, I can share it here real quick. Let me get back on there. Get something interesting in here. Alright, there we go. Is it popping up?
Yes, I see it.
Okay, so Bahrain is right there. And let me see if I can, this, it is where the original Garden of Eden was. Up here, can you see my mouse?
No, can you move it, wiggle it?
Well, I can actually navigate. This area right here.
Oh, I see now.
This area right here. This is Samaria. It stretches all the way from Kuwait City along the coast, and it ends just right there at the end of the Persian Gulf. and it goes all the way up to where Baghdad is, and actually it could probably even go farther, but that's Samaria. Qatar, right here, this is where the original Garden of Eden was supposed to be, and I've heard that it's supposed to be Dalmoon.
Can you point to it again? Qatar is over to the right, is it, or is it to the
It's right
left?
here.
In the
No.
middle of the ocean?
No, you see where Kuwait is?
Yeah.
And then right down here, there's this little bitty.
I see Qatar. Okay. That's where we were just at. All right. And that's how, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's cool. Oh, it did it for you because you searched it. I was like, that's cool.
Now, Dalmoon, I believe.
Is this the Asian Ocean or
This is the Persian Gulf.
okay.
Yeah, that's not it. But yeah, Qatar.
And this is where they say that the original Garden of Eden is. I do remember now.
Yeah.
Of it. Okay.
Now, there is islands and everything that is in this area. And there's also what do they call those amusement parks now, where they actually have an amusement park that is supposed to be put up in celebration of Dalmoon.
That's neat.
But
Do we know the name of it or no?
it's the Dalmoon. It's named after it. I mean, so it's pretty interesting. Prince Khalifa Salman Park, Al Hadid.
I wonder if that's where Wiz Khalifa gets his. Oh, look at the Lost Paradise of Dilmun. Okay.
Dalmoon. How do you spell that?
Dilmun.
Dilmun. Dalmoon.
In Bahrain, Middle East. Lost Paradise of Dilmun.
Yeah.
Okay, that doesn't look too fun or safe. Lord have mercy. This looks like you're gonna fly straight off the top of it. Where do you go from here? Did you pull a
Okay.
picture out?
Here is where it's at. It's in Gallia Dilmuna Island is what it's called.
Oh, that's where it's at. See on here. So is that the same as the lost city of Brahim?
That could be it.
Okay.
That could very well be it. But this is where the Garden of Eden is supposed to have been.
That's funny that they replaced it with an amusement park.
Yeah.
It's just like when you look at the whole picture, it really kind of seriously hilarious. iPodWaterPark.com. Lost Paradise of the Moon.
Now, let's see what they pop up for Essence of Delmune.
Oh, not Lost City, Bahrain, Middle East. Bahrain. How I say it?
Essence of Delmunia. And
Bahrain, Damunia. Mall of Damunia. Oh wow, yeah, they definitely capitalizing off of that one. Oh wow, wow. Oh man, look how pretty. Look at the sky.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's so nice. I mean, I know there's enhancements, but there's definitely purple traces in their sky. That's insane. The hotels
Mm-hmm.
look cheap, but that is beautiful. I mean, it looks. I mean, Holiday Inn look. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
At
How
least
much
you
money do
know.
you think something like that costs?
Oh God.
It's probably a ridiculous amount, but do you see it? It's so low scale. It's probably because of the history.
Mm-hmm. And I doubt very much that that's very peaceful. Like, they're taking the screenshots and everything, but I guarantee you it's not very peaceful.
That's
That,
some pretty weather.
yeah.
The ocean, and then next to the pool. That's neat.
Well, I heard the Persian Gulf was a beautiful water. I've actually heard that, and
Such pretty nighttime pictures.
yeah, Hanging Gardens of Dalmunia. That's some beautiful stuff. All right, so let's get back to Shamash. So Shamash was an ancient Mesopotamian sun god, earlier known as Utu. Now that's in Sumerian, which means sun. Okay. He was believed to see everything that happened in the world every day and was therefore responsible for justice and protection of travelers. As a divine judge, he could be associated with the underworld. Additionally, he could serve as the god of divination, typically alongside the weather god Adad. Now, Hadad, or Iskar, Sumerian, was the storm and rain god of the Canaanite and ancient Mesopotamian religions. So, Adad was both Canaanite and Mesopotamian. He was attested in Ebla as
Excuse
Hadad.
me.
Huh?
How does that happen?
What?
Like to where he mixed? Are you saying like because of his parents, or because he was adopted in both cultures?
He was adopted in both cultures. It's
I see.
like I said, you know, and I keep saying they still each other's, but it's not really that. It's just they kind of get incorporated, you know, and from one culture into another. As time goes by, they just kind of intermingle. That's basically it.
Okay.
So the Canaanites and the Mesopotamians both had Adad as their storm god. Now, he was attested in Ebla as Hadad in circa 2000 or 2500 BCE. From the Levant, Hadad was introduced to Mesopotamia by the Amorites. Now, the Amorites are the ones that I told you about when we ended last week, or they were decimated by the Assyrians. So,
Yeah. Okay. They killed them. Okay. Yeah.
yeah. Now, while he was universally regarded as one of the primary gods, he was particularly venerated in Sippar and Larsa. The moon god Nana, Sin, and his wife Ningal were regarded as his parents, while his twin sister was Inanna, or Ishtar. Occasionally, other goddesses, such as Manzat and Pinker, could be regarded as his sisters too. The dawn goddess Aya, Sherida, was his wife, and multiple texts describe their daily reunions taking place on a mountain where the sun was believed to set. Among their children were Ketum, the personification of truth, dream deities such as Mamu, as well as the god Isham. Utu's name could be used to write the names of many foreign solar deities iographically or logographically. The connection between him and the Hurrian solar god Shemish is particularly well tested, and the latter could be associated with Aya as well. While no myths focusing on Utu are known, he only appears as an ally or other figures in both Sumerian and Akkadian compositions. According to narratives by Dumuzi's death, narratives about Dumuzi's death, he helped protect him when the Gala demons tried to drag him to the underworld. In various versions of the Epic of Gilgamesh and in early Gilgamesh myths, he helped this hero defeat the monstrous Humbaba. In the myth Inanna and An, he helped his sister acquire the temple Ina. In How Grain Came to Sumar, he is evoked to advise Nanazu and Nemada. Okay, so we covered that. We went over Nana and Sippar is another city that's kind of strange from Larsa, because they were considered Sumerian, but they were kind of like standalone, you know what I mean? Like, people didn't trust people from Larsa, for one.
I thought that Sippar and Larsa is the same place.
Well, Sippar is, I believe, where Enki's temple is. I believe that's in Sippar. Sippar was the ancient Near East Sumerian and late Babylonian city on the east bank of the Euphrates River. Its tail is located at the site of modern Tel Abu Habab near Yosifia in Iraq's Baghdad Governorate, some 69 kilometers, 43 miles north of Babylon, and 30 kilometers, 9 miles southwest, whatever. But Sippar actually can be done on the map too. I guess it'd be good to start making a habit of using it. That way we can kind of get a reference.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's actually pretty good to do that stuff. Kind of give people an idea of what we're talking about and where it's located.
Yeah, give them something to look at, so that way if they're interested in researching or anything. That's why usually I ask you to, because it's good for visuals.
Sippar. Let's see if it shows. Gotta back out. See if it's actually. Yep, there we go.
It's not on the screen.
Oh, it's under a different name. I've got to pop it up too.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got to pop this bad boy up. Let's see here. It's Talul Ad Deir.
That name Paluda. Yeah.
Deir. Talul Ad Deir.
Palu.
Deir.
Yeah.
You'd think that freaking,
Phonetics? No.
you'd think there'd be some resemblance to it, you know what I mean?
What is that line of water? What is that?
That is, you talking about this right here?
Yes.
It doesn't really say.
It looks like it's something that would be traveled along. Because, like, look how it has the streets next to it, right next to it.
Now
and
that
then,
could be a water canal too.
uh,
I think that could be a water canal.
that's a good.
It even shows convenience stores and shit.
Neato. The maps got so extensive lately. Like, so extensive.
Alright. Doesn't have anything. Ancient Sippar during the Sumerian and Babylonian time. Utu born here. Ancient school with clay tablets and cuneiform recovered. That's cool. Me and other tablets of record in golden chests they stored. And then another one says, can I have any information about the places or if there are better pictures? Now this it says Talul Ad Dar is a hills and is located in Merality of Baghdad, Iraq. And the estimated terrain elevation above sea level is 29 meters. That's interesting. But yeah, this is I can barely hear you. Did you say something?
I was wondering if they showed Baghdad
Like, I think you're,
Oh, maybe my finger. Can you hear me better now?
yeah, I can hear you now.
I was holding it underneath. I was just looking close to see if they showed Baghdad in correlation to it.
Yeah, I can zoom out and show you. Just remember that
Okay.
there's Baghdad right
Oh,
here.
right up top. I see.
Yeah, it's just like right there.
Hey, and that's oh, there, what it is. I was saying you don't even see that water, but I guess it's that one.
No, actually, the
That's
one,
something different.
yeah, right here, we have to zoom in to see that, and that goes right up. You can see right where it flows.
Goes up the highway. Yeah, it goes right here up into the highway and then goes to here.
It's interesting.
Yeah, it is. Something sticks out to me about that water. I'm not sure as to what it is, though.
You see, that's the one thing they were famous for was their irrigation canals too. Like in that area, they had to use water that came out of these rivers because of the lack of rain, and it was so rare to get rain that they even made it to where rainwater was like different than river water. It was something special. So, another interesting fact that nobody cares about but me.
Other people care. it's interest. It's more so something to put together. When it's new to people, they cannot really have the same intricacy or care or understanding that you have because you studied it. And for now, it's just for information for people, and then they can process it accordingly.
Now, let me read this again. It says, when he was universally regarded as one of the primary gods, he was particularly venerated in Sippar and Larsa. The moon god Nana Sin and his wife Ningal were regarded as his parents, while his twin sister it was Inanna or Ishtar. Occasionally, other goddesses such as Manzet and Penneker, these two I've never heard of, could be regarded as his sisters too. See, I've never heard of them. And sometimes known by the Sumerians as Tirana or Anna, was a Mesopotamian and Elamite goddess representing the rainbow. She was also believed to be responsible for the prosperity of cities. She's an Elamite god. That's not too many people talk too much about the Elamite gods. So I'll check that one out. That one might be interesting. That's the rainbow. You like rainbows, don't you? Okay, Pentecost.
I'm shouting. Listen, I'm shouting yes. I'm like yes, yes, because I'm reading. On the Safari reading, and I'm like yes, yes, yes. I'm like I'm muted, because I turned the dryer on, and then the kid had been in and out, so I was just. That's so funny. I'm literally shouting yes, yes, and trying attempting to tab over to this one. Like yes, I love rainbows, yes.
So Pentecar, the other one, is known as Penneger, Peringer or Perenker, and Pericaris was an ancient Near East astral goddess who originates in Elamite religious beliefs. While she is only infrequently attested in Elamite documents, she achieved a degree of prominence in Hurrian religion. So that's interesting. And then Aya. Aya was a Mesopotamian goddess associated with dawn. Multiple variant names were attributed to her in god lists. She was regarded as the wife of Shamash, the sun god. She was worshipped alongside her husband in Sippar. Multiple royal inscriptions pertaining to this city mention her. Okay, so Aya is Sippar's official bride of Shamash, or Utu. Among their children were Ketum. Now, Ketum, also known as Najina, was a Mesopotamian goddess who was regarded as the embodiment of truth. She belonged to the city of the sun god Utu Shamash and was associated with law and justice. The personification of truth, dream deities such as Mamu. Now, Mamu might be interesting. Mamu, go ahead.
No, I just feel like that name is really, really familiar. Like recent, I didn't have my iPad open because I was working on the laptop, but I think we have Mamu in my Firefox. But go ahead, I apologize. It sounds so familiar.
It's fine. Now, Mamu was a Mesopotamian goddess associated with dreams. She was regarded as the daughter of the sun god Utu, and could herself be called the Utu of dreams. References to male Mamu are also known. though it has been proposed that they only represent a late change of gender attestations. I'm probably guessing. Now, she was a dream deity, and then another child of them was Isham. Now, I've heard of Isham. Now, I'm not too much on him, but I've heard of him. Isham was a Mesopotamian god of Akkadian origin. He is best attested as a divine night watchman, tasked with protecting houses at night, but he was also associated with various underworld deities, especially Nergal and Shabula. Now, Nergal is Ishtar's sister, Ishtar and Shamash's sister, Utu's sister. Now, she's evil. She's the bad guy. She's the one that freaking hung Inanna from freaking hooks and killed her.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Remember the story I told about how she had all of her clothes and stuff on that were imbued with powers?
Yeah, she had to wear the layers in order to make it through, and then by the time she got out, she was naked.
Yeah, she was naked, and her sister crucified her with hooks and chains. That's freaking who it was. She was the evil one. Nergal. I believe Nergal was that. Now, as well as the god Isham. Utu's name can be used to write the names of many foreign solar deities. Okay, so we've gotten through that. I'm gonna hit Isham, see what we got from him. I want to see how he was associated with the evil one. Now, Isham was a Mesopotamian god of Akkadian origin. And it's like I told you, first there was the Sumerians, and then they were conquered by the Akkadians. The Akkadians actually created the first freaking empire or kingdom. Before them, there was only city-states.
Oh.
So,
every time I hear Arcadia, I think of the Flash. It was one of the bad guys.
Mm-hmm. Now, Isham was a Mesopotamian god of Akkadian origin. He is best attested as a divine night watchman tasked for protecting houses at night, but he was associated with various underworld deities. Now, the ancient Mesopotamian underworld, most often known in Sumerian as Kur, Urkala, Kuku, Urali, or Kigal, and in Akkadian as Urtsetsu, although it had many names in both languages, was a dark, dreary cavern located deep below the ground, where inhabitants were believed to continue. They continued living basically, but dead, something like that. With various underworld deities, especially Nergal. Now, Nergal was a Mesopotamian god, worshipped through all periods of Mesopotamian history, from early dynasty to Neo-Babylonian times. Now, this isn't her. This is Nergal. I believe Nergal was the one I was telling you about that was married to Ishtar, or Inanna, and he got turned into a snake.
Oh, because he had to go back as something. He could only go back as, yeah. You had to go back as something, and they put him as the lowest form because of the stuff that he was doing. He was shady.
He was the one that was sitting up on his throne and just laying
She
back.
was doing all the work,
out.
right?
She was dead down in the freaking underworld. Ishtar was, and Anna was, and he's her husband, just chilling out on the throne, being lazy, not
Not
doing
even
nothing.
thinking about it, right?
Didn't
Yo.
even care.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she got pissed off. Said, "You know what? I choose him," because she had to replace her soul with another person's soul in order to come above out of the underworld.
Well deserved, if you ask me.
Yep, that's what you do. Them
Yeah, I
rhymes.
mean, like your girl is dead and you just chilling, you don't even care, and you have a way to be able to assist. Yeah, nah, you're a clown. You go ahead and go turn into a snake. Roll in your belly, brother. Roll in your belly.
See, that's what happened. He turned around and he thought he could, reach out to not Ishtar, but Utu Shamash, because he worshipped him and asked him for help. Well, he just screwed frickin' Utu's sister over big time, you know what I mean? So what does he do? He frickin' turns him into a snake. so he could escape. So, or Era. Era is an Akkadian plague god known from an epos of the 8th century BCE era. Now, Era is the god of mayhem and pestilence who is responsible for periods of political confusion. He was assimilated to Nergal at some point. So, Ura became Nergal. And Shubulu. Shubulu was a Mesopotamian god. He was associated with the underworld and commonly appears in association with Nergal, Isham, Las, and other deities of similar character. He was worshipped in small settlements such as Sippar, Subala, and Lagaba. Now, he was associated with fire, but was not exclusively a fire god, unlike Gibel. And Gibel, also known under the Akkadian name Gira, was a Mesopotamian god associated with fire, both in its positive and negative aspects. He also played a role in ritual purification. Textual sources indicate his symbol was a torch, though no representations of him have been identified. So he was associated with fire, but was not exclusively a fire god, unlike Gibel, and that's who Gibel or Gibel, Gibil.
Gibel.
Now, while he was not considered to be one of the major gods, he was commonly worshipped and appears in many theophoric names. In bilingual text, he could be associated with Sumerian Hindersaga. But this equation is only attested for the first time in the Old Babylonian period, and the ritual behind it remains uncertain. Both of those gods could be regarded as the husband of the goddess Ninmug. And Ninmug, or Ninmuga, was a Mesopotamian goddess. She was associated with artisanship, especially with metalworking, as evidenced by her epithet Tabira Kalama, metalworker of the land. She could also be regarded as a goddess of birth and assistant of Ninma. Now, Ninma was the one, I think, who was married to Enki. No. Ninma. Though she was primary, it says, Both of those gods could be regarded as the husband of the goddess Ninmug, though she was primarily associated with Isham and only secondary with Hindersaga. So now, let me find. Yeah, there we go. Ninma. Now, Ninhursag, that's her. Yep. Ninhursag. This is a goddess. This is one of the big ones. Okay, Ninhursag is Sumerian, sometimes transcribed Ninhursag or Ninharsag or Ninhursaga, also known as Damgolnuna or Nimma. See right there, they're using Nimma as her name, which they said was a separate entity. So, and somebody say something.
No.
Alright. Now, Ninmah, she was the ancient Sumerian mother goddess of the mountains and one of the 7 great deities of Sumer. She is known earliest as the nurturing or fertility goddess. Temple hymn sources identify her as the true and great lady of heaven, possibly in relationship to her standing on the mountain and kings of Lagash. Now Lagash is another one. Lagash is the bad city. Okay, nobody liked Lagash.
Why?
They were warriors and like the only thing they cared about is fortifying their cities and attacking the other cities. Like, remember how I told you they were all set up like city-states?
Yeah.
These were the bad guys. These were the ones that came in to try to steal your crops and freaking bring down your walls.
That's why nobody liked them.
Yeah, they were the bad guys.
Memes.
Yeah. And kings, okay, possibly in relation to her standing on the mountain, and kings of Lagash were nourished by Ninhursag's milk. She is the tutelary deity to several Sumerian leaders. Her most well-known myths are Enki and Ninhursag. Describing her dealings with Enki resulting from her sexual exploits. And Enki and Ninmah, a creation myth wherein the two deities compete to create humans. She is referred or makes brief appearances in others as well, most notably as the mother of Ninurta in the Anzu epic. And Ninurta is possible meaning Lord of Barley, also known as Ningirsu in Sumerian, meaning Lord of Girsu, is an ancient Mesopotamian god associated with farming, healing, hunting, law, scribes. Yeah. Now, I believe Ninurta might have been the idiot that got taken down to the underworld. Ninurta. He was the one, I think. Yeah, Ninurta, also known as Ningirsu, is an ancient Mesopotamian god associated with farming, healing, hunting, law, scribes, and war, who was first worshipped in early Sumer. In the earliest records, he is a god of agriculture and healing, who cures humans of sicknesses and releases them from the power of demons. In later times, as Mesopotamia grew more militarized, he became a warrior deity, though he retained many of his earlier agricultural attributes. He was regarded as the son of the chief god Enlil in his main cult center. Yeah, hold up, yeah, Ninurta. That right there. Okay. Let me keep on reading. I know Ninurta now, I think. I think he is, there's a correlation between him and, Nana. Or not Nana, Sin. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Yeah, it is Nana, isn't it?
Nana, the dad.
Yeah, the one that. Which one was it that was also called Sin?
Yeah, I feel like that's what you just said. Nana is also known as Sin, and that's the moon god.
Yeah. Uh huh. That was it. Yeah. I think Ninurta might have been. That's something that I noticed when I was listening and reading on a lot of stuff. Like, there's a correlation between Ninurta and Nana, because you don't hear too much about Nana, but Ninurta he's always popping up in the stories. So that kind of stuck out to me. He's regarded as the son of the chief god Enlil, and Enlil, later known as Elil, is an ancient Mesopotamian god associated with wind, air, earth, and storms. He is the first attested as chief deity of the Sumerian pantheon, but he was later worshipped by the Akkadians, Babylonians, Assyrians, and Hurrians. Now, he's regarded as the son of the chief god Enlil, and his main cult center in Sumer was the Ashumisha temple in Nippur. Ningirsu was honored by King Gudea of Lagash, ruled from 2144 to 2124 BC, who rebuilt Ningirsu's temple at Lagash. Later, Ninurta became beloved by the Assyrians as a formidable warrior. The Assyrian king Ashur Nasrpal II ruled 883 to 859 BC. Built a massive temple for him in Kalhu, which became his most important cult center from there on. In the epic poem Lugal-E, Ninurta slays the demon Asag using his talking mace. Now, Asag is a monstrous demon so hideous that his presence alone makes fish boil alive in the river.
Whoa.
Just makes the fish boil alive.
I know, that's crazy. Like, that's insane, you know? You gotta be one evil person.
Yep. So Ninurta slays the demon Asag using his talking mace, Sharur, and the Sharur, which means smasher of thousands, is the weapon and symbol of the god Ninurta. Now, the Sumerian mythic source describe it as an enchanted talking mace. It has been suggested as a possible precursor for similar objects in other mythologies, such as Arthurian lore. Arthurian lore. That might be like King Arthur. I'm not sure.
Opinion Lord, yeah.
And now, Ninurta slaves the demon Asag using his talking mace Sharur, and uses stones to build the Tigris and Euphrates rivers to make them useful for irrigation. In a poem sometimes referred to as the Sumerian Georgica, Ninurta provides agricultural advice to farmers. In an Akkadian myth, he was the champion of the gods against the Anzu. Against the Anzu bird after it stole the Tablet of Destinies. Now that is a good story, and like the Tablet of Destinies is amazing. Now Anzu, also known as Zu in Imdugud, is a monster in several Mesopotamian religions. He was conceived by the pure waters of the Apsu and the wide earth, or as son of Sirius. Anzu was depicted as a massive bird who can breathe fire and water, although Anzu is alternately depicted as a lion-headed eagle. What do you think about that?
I think that's interesting. A lion-headed eagle sounds
very symbolic, huh?
Yeah. And I want to see what that looks like, so I guess.
Now, the Tablets of Destiny in Mesopotamian mythology was envisaged as a clay tablet inscribed with cuneiform writing, also impressed with cylinder seals, which as a permanent legal document conferred upon the god Enlil his supreme authority as ruler of the universe. Okay. That's when the Anzu bird stole the Tablet of Destinies from his father Enlil. And in a myth that is alluded to in many works but never fully preserved, he killed a group of warriors known as the Slain Heroes. His major symbols were a perched bird and a plow. It has been suggested that Ninurta was the inspiration for the figure of Nimrod, a mighty hunter, who is mentioned in association with Kalhu in the book of Genesis. Although the view has been disputed, he may also be mentioned in the second book of Kings under the name Nisroch. In the 19th century, Assyrian stone reliefs of winged eagle-headed figures from the temple of Ninurta at Kalhu were commonly but erroneously identified as Nisroch. They appear in works of fantasy literature from the time period. So that's it. That's Ninurta. What do you think about all that?
I always learn something new from when I listen to you, especially with history. Again, for me, I'm always attempting to listen for like the correlations, and the fact that the names are so interchanging, it kind of just shows how interconnected these things are, even though we tend to separate them and, make them their own. It's just like, to me, it just shows and proves the point of being one big melting pot.
Hmm. So basically, we started out with Tawatis singing the flute to Nicole, and Nicole is the counterpart to Nimgal or Ningal, and then Ningal was Mesopotamian guarded as the wife of the moon god Nana. So then we went into Nana, who is also Sin, which that's what we were talking about. So right there, you're seeing the lineage there. You know what I mean? Like freaking, it goes from Nicole to freaking Sin through Ningal. Then from Sin you start hearing about all these other deities that we just discussed. And it's a lineage, you know what I mean? It just keeps going on. So that's pretty cool. I was always wondering, what the connection was, because I knew there was. Especially when you listen to the Hittite stories and the Urartu. Like, a lot of people don't realize the Urartu, they did have a lot of beliefs and stuff. Like Mithra, they practice the whole.
What's that?
You've never heard of Mithra?
Mithra? No.
Okay. I'm going to have to take care of that for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mithra. Okay, Mithra, commonly known as Mer or Mithras, which is false. Mithra and Mithras is two different things altogether. Okay. Mithra started a lot longer ago than what Mithras was. Mithras is a Roman belief. Yeah, so
Mithra is a Roman belief.
Yeah. They yeah, here we go. Mithra. Now Mithra, commonly known as Mer or Mithras among Romans, is an ancient Iranian deity of covenants, light, oath, justice, the sun, contracts, and friendship. In addition to being the divinity of contracts, Mithra is also a judicial figure, an all-seeing protector of truth, and the guardian of cattle, the harvest, and the water. Now, the Romans attributed their Mithraic mysteries to Zoroastrian Persian sources relating to Mithra. Since the early 1970s, the dominant scholarship has noted dissimilarities between the Persian and Roman traditions, making it, at most, the result of Roman perceptions of Zoroastrian ideas. So at least they said that, because that's got to be understood. Like, the stuff the Romans believed in had absolutely nothing to do with the Persians.
It's sparklers, because the neighbors are the big ones. These look like they go boom. They got
okay, so together with the Vedic common noun Mitra, the Avestan common noun derives from Proto-Indo-Iranian mitram or mitra, from the root mi, to bind, with tool suffix tra, causing to. Thus, etymologically, mitra mora means that which causes binding. preserved in the Avestan word for covenant, contract, and oath. In Middle Iranian languages, Middle Persian, Parthian, etc. Miora became Mer, from which New Persia, Mer, in Armenian, Uth-Muramar ultimately derived. In Armenia is where a lot of the stuff from Mithra really came from. It migrated down into what is now called Iran. So.
Yeah, I never even heard of that until today. But it makes sense because you said it's not real, and myth is mythology. Okay, so it's just a different word for it. It's a similar word for a different culture.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot more complicated than what people think about, because like they think of Mithra and they think of it as like archaic black magic or white magic or any kind of magic, and it's not. I mean, they were very sophisticated about the way they practiced, you know what I mean? Like, way sophisticated. The Indo-Europeans, from what I found out with them, is like everything was important when it came to trying to explain stuff. You know, eventually we should get into Zoroastrianism, you know.
I felt like we started talking Zorro. When I hear Zorro, I think of the Masked Crusader Zorro. Zoroastrianism, okay.
Yeah, Zoroastrians. It's actually it's they oh sorry. they say it's a Iranian religion, but it goes farther back before Iran was even considered, you know, if it travels farther up north, you know what I mean, into the Russian steppes, and it also goes over to Afghanistan. It's known up around the Black Sea, Caspian Sea, all of that, right around where Armenia and all them countries are. It's they call it
Armenia or Romania?
Romania.
Oh, okay.
All of that. So, like Zoroastrianism is an Iranian religion and one of the world's oldest organized faith, based on teachings from the Iranian-speaking prophet Zoroaster. It has a dualist cosmology of good and evil within the framework of a monotheist ontology, and an eschatology which predicts the ultimate conquest of evil by good. Zoroastrianism exalts an uncreated and benevolent deity of wisdom known as Ahura Mazda, and that means Lord of Wisdom, as its supreme being. Historically, the unique features of Zoroastrianism, such as its monotheism, Messianism, belief of free will and judgment after death, conception of heaven, hell, angels, and demons, among other concepts, may have influenced other religions and philosophical systems, including the Abrahamic religions and Gnosticism, Northern Buddhism, and Greek philosophy. So that's kind of what they're talking about there. That's some hardcore stuff. It literally connects all of it. So, what, you ain't got nothing to say? falling asleep?
No, I'm not falling asleep. I was just reading. I'm the multitasking. I was looking at the stuff for me to be able to post the interview coming out with John. My whole thing botched, so I need John to do it for me. So I was listening to at the same time, and you were talking about the same exact thing that we just were saying about it interconnecting. But
Hmm.
yeah, no, I was finishing a sentence that I was reading in regards to being able to post John's interview, which was a
Okay.
good one. So thank you.
So, yeah, later on, we can get together and I can help you on that. Okay. And
I
then,
need, yeah, because I
cause
have to
you
figure out
still wanting to do my interview too. So,
I have to do your interview, and I'm gonna do Summers. John gave me Summers' email, so I'm gonna email her and see what we're gonna set up. And then I would like to kind of get them done, like both, sometime this week if possible. But I'd like to figure out a way for me to do recording because, like today, I screen recorded, and it screen recorded the whole entire time. I can see it on my screen that's recording, and then there's no screen record when I get done. So thankfully, John offered to record for me, but it bothers me because there was stuff that was on my camera that's not on John's, and that kind of disturbs me because like I was looking for those things to kind of like how if you see ghost or something on one picture.
yeah. The hell? It did it to me again. Boy, she's gonna be mad at me.
Or if it's going to be a different time. But anyway, yeah, no, I need you because I got to figure out how I'm going to record these on my own because I should not be relying on my interviewers to record the interviews for me. Zax was easy because he did it on your platform, but like
Yeah.
I either have to set up a Jitsi account or even like this girl, we're going to do
Well,
Google Meets,
let me
and I
go
don't
over
even know
let
what.
me go over
I don't
some of that
have
stuff.
Google on my iPad. Well, I guess I could put it there. And then, but
Oh,
see, then the screen record. Would I have to do OBS? So then let me put it on.
I had it
In which
muted.
case, then I'll put it on my Mac, and then I'll figure it out. Yeah, we gotta get
Now,
together.
if you want, just let me go over some of that stuff with you, okay?
Okay.
And we can kind of get you, cause see with your videos, it's repetition. You have to get used to doing the same thing over and over again and memorizing it. You know what I mean? So every time you do something, you got to get a routine down to where you can get it done, get it quick. The only thing that you have to do differently is usually the audio. Okay.
Yeah, I got screwed on my audio last time. I had really, really good content, and it timed out at the exact time I wanted it to.
Hmm.
428, which we know that's Yahweh, and there's no audio. But I didn't change anything in my settings for there to be no audio. And then all my other videos had audio. You and I tested all of that. I left it the exact same, exited out of the
Hmm.
program, and then I did my, like I said, it was 428, so it meant something
Never,
to.
never trust your audio.
I
Never.
don't even know how to test it, so I still gotta
That's
start.
what I'm saying. We'll go over on that and I'll show you. Okay.
Okay, it sounds good.
We'll go over that and I'll get you to where it's taken care of. But yeah, don't ever trust your audio. Your audio is your worst friend. It, it's it's gonna screw you in the end. Every time, dude. I mean,
Sounds like a
every time.
man. No, I'm just
Oh,
joking.
yeah, man's got to do what a man's got to do.
Oh man, I say I'm joking, but you know the seriousness. You know the
Yeah, yeah, I
vibe.
know. Now, I think we went through and covered a lot of that stuff a lot better than we did. We're pretty much done with that fifth page. I mean, because I believe we stopped at Nicole, and like you said, you wanted to go back over all that other stuff.
Yeah, I'm
So,
glad. I apologize for being late. I
oh, that's fine.
after school today with the boys. I fell asleep on the couch, and I didn't even plan on falling asleep, and I woke up and I was like, "What?" And just came straight in. Like I did all that. Like because I stayed up late then slept for an hour, got up early and did the thing with John, never went back to sleep. And then, yeah, it was kind of.
Now, the thing that's weird to me is like the part about Tawadas playing his flute to Nicole, and Nicole is directly related to the Sumerian moon god, and
I wonder if summoning the power was something for them to be able to.
Yeah. Now, the mythology of Tawadas is echoed by the god Dionysus, which we talked about last week, or Njorth, the snake priest who was the consort to the moon goddess. Now, the snake priest was also presented by the symbol of a pillar, a wand, or a caduceus. The Greeks equate Thoth with the widely traveled Hermes. According to the Egyptian tradition, Osiris traveled the world with Thoth. Asclepius, alternatively known as Eshmun, is responsible for carrying on the teachings of Tawadas on snake priesthood under the protection umbrella of Hindu culture. Snake charmers playing their nasal punju echo the same tradition.
I wonder why these traditions get lost. To where I wonder, is it strategic to where they kind of get denounced or denied? Kind of just, you know what I mean, for us to rediscover. Like, there's a reason, and I feel as though it's with the power within the power that it withholds, that it bestows. Because I think, like, it just, back then everyone was so much more powerful, so much healthier. There were self-healers. It was just like that was the norm. And I feel like the suppression of this information is strategic. It's not coincidental that this is not something, because back then this is all people knew. You know what I mean? So for us to not really have any concept of these traditions and these events without having to dig deep is kind of interesting to me. It makes me wonder why it's like that.
Well, you got to remember, man, times also are enemy. You know what I mean? Like, I've got some cool documentaries that I can show you where these archaeologists go up into the Himalayas, and they go up into the cave systems. They climb up there with freaking climbing equipment into these holes, and the reason why they go from one cavern to the other is because they want to find old Buddhist writings, Hindu writings, where you know how they wrote their stuff on the papers and stuff.
The scribes, yeah.
Yep, they're sprawled all over those caves because these priests would go in there, and that's where they would stay. And they lived up inside of there, on the side of these mountains, and it's pretty cool. It really is.
I wanted to ask you too. How do you feel about quantum entanglement?
Quanta what?
Quantum physics, quantum entanglement. I've been doing a few documentaries on them, on that concept anyway. And I was just wondering, are you familiar? And if so, how do you feel about it? Because you know Einstein denounced it, even though it's since been proven.
Well, I mean, if Einstein denounced it, I mean, shit.
It's since been proven though. Like, Ball has come forth. You know, just even with the Copenhagen effect, that kind of was the catalyst to draw towards it being proven, not necessarily proven, but being more highly developed. I was just wondering if you knew much about it, because it sounded like something that would be good for a strength in this topic.
Well, I mean, the thing of it is it's like it has to do with like the quantum state. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
it has to do with particles.
So fast that we're able to penetrate through object. Because at the smallest, yeah.
Well, see, the deal is it's like like for a good example, I've heard somebody else mentioned it too, and I brought it up. It was on John's last interview he had, where the guy was using it as an example, like a table. Like you put your hand down on a table, okay, and there's particles in there that are constantly moving around fast. And if they weren't moving around fast, or you could literally put your hand through that table, right?
Yeah.
If they were sitting still. But because they're moving fast,
it's repelling.
It's solid and it's repelling you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, with that aspect, you also have to think about the Earth. You know what I mean? If freaking those same particles weren't doing the same on the Earth, we'd fall right through.
Right.
So
that'll just elaborate my studies tonight then, because we saying that. Which is good that I kind of took a nap. I need to stay up and do some stuff.
But later on Strangeness too, I do want to start getting into my weird science. So maybe we can talk about that too at another time, because I've been trying to build up for it and get things going on it. It's a pretty cool subject. I don't know.
I love quantum physics. Like I was taking online quantum physics just so that way I already knew, but I am underdeveloped in the area. So it's like one of those things to where I know what I know from experience, and now I'm attempting to equate and associate the research the same. And that, like, where most people learn it first and then they attempt to like divulge with it, and get involved. But for me, I kind of I go through stuff and I'm like, I want to know what this is and why this happens like this. How come I'm able to read people's mind but other people are not? Or how come I'm able to, my kid went through a car, you know what I mean? Like instead of him dying, he went through the car. Like what was, like, I don't know. Because most people get hit by cars and they die. My kid gets hit by a car, he goes through it. And like the police witnessed this, and it's, I don't know if the cameras still have it on, record, because the light cameras, but it's just, I don't know, it's just stuff like that that's interesting to me.
Yeah. Well,
I guess we're done.
We can talk about later. I guess we can finish this up and then bring it up.
Has a show tonight.
Huh?
You saw that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If you want to.
We graduated faster, huh? We're moderators. We graduated faster. We're moderators.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's dope.
That's not really like a privilege, that. Like that's like a responsibility.
I know, we gotta be.
That's like,
I'm just like, I wasn't watching the chat. I apologize.
It's like,
I wasn't paying attention.
But just so everybody knows what she's talking about is WPRPN tonight has World Pirate Radio News, and it starts 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, LA, Vancouver, Seattle, and Baja. 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, New York, Toronto, Miami. And that's Wednesday, 12 noon in Tokyo and Seoul. So check your local listings and hope like heck you get the time zones right. So
yeah, it's always good stuff. I don't think I went to one show and it wasn't good stuff at all.
Okay. So we did a plug for them. So we did good.
Yeah, today was a nice show. Again, I think I said I apologize about my tardiness. It's funny. I feel like that was kind of strategic too, because you're always like, she's always here at 6. No matter what, she's here at 6. And then all of a sudden, me being the only person that consistently shows up is not here at 6. I don't know. It feels weird.
I mean, you put you in a funk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So don't let that bug you though. I was able to carry on without you.
I know, the show will go on, not my heart. My heart will go on. The show must go on. And it did. And I'm glad I wasn't too late, because it was so funny. Because I started doing my own stuff, which I was completely off base today. I don't know where I thought we were going with this. And I set up my desk and everything, and I was ready. Well, my work area, I didn't set up the desk, but I set up my work area in the living room, and I'm like, okay, we have history today. Let me get this stuff done early with the boys, so that way I can get into my history. Literally got the stuff done early with the boys and was drooling. So I don't know.
That's one reason why I decided I should probably read, because you seemed like you was all out of whack when you got in here, like you was out
Yeah, I'm like, just like, at least I set up first. Like, that's what was working in my favor. But it was just like, you know how you wake up and you weren't even supposed to be asleep, so you're like, what in the HE double hockey thing? But it's cool, we got it done, so thank you.
Alright, so you wanna say bye?
See you guys later. Thank you so much and have a good evening.
You too, and thank you for being here, Karma.
Thank you for having me. You be safe.
You too. Alright, so that's the end of it, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Have a good night.